Hey guys, welcome to the channel. We've got Claire here tonight. Let's get her in here. There she is. Everybody say hello to Claire.
Good evening.
Welcome to another edition of Scientology Live, whether you're joining on a podcast or you're joining on YouTube. We had another podcast. It's Tuesday, right? Yeah, we had another podcast come out this morning on the Blown for Good podcast channel, another interview that Claire did. She's got at least 3 or 4 more interviews coming up on the podcast, and we didn't do, we're not going to have a video come out tomorrow from Claire, just because the schedule, we got to line up all our schedules and everything for the upcoming interviews that she's doing for the YouTube channel. But we'll definitely announce whenever that is, that the next one's going to come out. And yeah, the other thing is we're going to start doing the Shoops, the David Miscavige Boss Baby Shoops. We're going to start doing those once a month, just because this is cutting into the spy files and the interviews that we had planned on doing. And now we're not doing those for the Shoops. And the Shoops are fun, but they're not as productive as I'd like in terms of, you know, exposing Scientology. Although they may be a thorn in David Miscavige's side. They're not necessarily doing anything to expose them. So, but let's see who we've got in here tonight. We've got oh wow, we've already got a ton of comments. We've already up to 500 comments. We're only 2 minutes in. I suspect a few of those may have been pre going live here, but we've got people from Tacoma. We've got somebody from Tasmania.
I just marked a comment that's going to kind of surprise you.
That's going to surprise me?
Yep.
A lot, you think? Evening from Indiana, South Dakota, Wollongong, Australia, Germany. There are a ton of international cracker lickers in here. South Carolina. Oh my goodness. Long Beach.
Toronto.
Toronto.
Oh, there's somebody here from Isle of Man. That's awesome.
Wow. That is amazing. You have got to be kidding me. Is this who I think it is?
I think so.
What are the chances?
I know. That's why I was like, wait, what?
I wonder if they knew who we were when
I don't know. I'm mystified.
That's super weird. Okay, we did meet some people at the Depeche Mode concert we went to in San Antonio.
Very cool people.
A few days ago. We met a ton of awesome folks, but we were sitting next to some folks that were just amazing. And that is, I'm very suspicious of that. Shannon, you need to send a picture. And if it is actually you, then that's going to be super spooky. But thank you, Shannon, for coming to showing up for a live here. And we also have, this is a great one, COB, hello from Hemet, California. It's COBILF. I don't know what that means. But that's fun. Yeah, so what we're going to do tonight, guys, is we're going to do we'll do the Q&A. We'll just go into questions right off the bat. I don't think there's anything we need to cover that's going on. We had a live last night with Mike Rinder and Amy Scobie joined us, and that was a ton of fun. And it sounds like Amy's going to be doing some other videos with Mike, which is amazing. And we might have her on here as well if she's up for it. Yeah, we'll do the Mike Rinder bobblehead pics and the David Miscavige Boss Baby Shoops. We'll do those at the end of the video right before we're done for the night. And I do want to say, I know we did this last time. We did a live probably a week ago now. or was it last Tuesday? I think it was last Tuesday. We came in and we had like 26,500, and I think it was about 500, maybe it's 400 and something subscribers. And we said, hey, what would it do if, what do we think we could do if we could get another 500 subscribers while we're in the live? And we pulled it off. We got 27,000 subscribers. Well, I'm not interested in doing another marathon live, but we do have 27,500 subscribers. So I'm just saying, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, and that helps out the algorithm and puts this video up on people's YouTube pages, and makes it so we can get the word out about Scientology and what's going on with that. And
yeah, we're already up to 700 people here with us now, so that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sometimes very surprised how 700 people managed to show up to this thing, within a few minutes of us starting, and it's awesome. But yeah, so thanks for that, guys.
Yes.
I'll put up some of these. I'm gonna, whatever questions Claire starred, I'll tell you guys when we're gonna kill the. Probably what we should do is. We'll just play it by ear, but I'll let you guys know when we're going to end off on the super chats or the questions coming in, so you guys don't put up super chats that don't get answered. I do really try to answer all of them. Sometimes I miss a few here and there. Hi from Rhode Island. Thanks, Megan. Appreciate it. Corey from Ottawa Valley, Ontario, Canada. Claire's starring comments and putting them up at the same time. I love it when she does that.
Sorry,
keeps
not in
me
my
on
best
my
form
toes.
tonight.
Anita Thompson, hello from humid Houston. Yeah, I don't think it was that humid in San Antonio. Did you really notice the humidity that much there?
No, but mind you, we came from it being freezing here, so it was an amazing change of temperature.
Yeah. Evening from Indiana. Blue G6 Demon. This is from Elsie. It says, I don't understand how people justify bull baiting. I'm not sure what that is in relation to, if that's something else in the comments, or she just doesn't.
No, I think that's an honest question about.
Oh, you mean in Scientology?
Yes.
Well,
because of the abusive aspect of
well, I mean, I understand the concept of it. I don't know how they justify anything in Scientology. There's all sorts of nonsense going in Scientology that's much worse than bull baiting. And just so some people might know the lingo here, but in Scientology, when you're a new Scientologist and how do you say this? When you're doing your training on how to become a counselor, one of the things that you do is TRs, and TRs stand for training routines. And you stare at somebody for 2 hours without blinking, and you have to just sit in front of them with your eyes closed that's for 2 hours too, right?
Yes.
So you do eyes closed for 2 hours.
That's first.
Then you do eyes open for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then you do a thing where you ask a question and then they have to answer. And until they answer your question, you just keep asking it over and over. So we'll play.
But you skipped over the bull bait.
Okay, well, let's play right now. I was trying to kind of make them understand. So if I say, you ask 2 questions. You only ask 2 questions. You can only ask 2 questions. And the questions are, do birds fly? That's one question. And the second question is, do fish swim? Those are the only 2 questions you're allowed to ask.
But you have to pick one of those questions when you're doing this drill. Like you can't flip-flop between the 2 because you're repeating the same question over and over again.
But once you get an answer, you can switch to the other question.
No, you can't.
You can't?
No.
You only say fish the whole 2 hours, whatever it is?
Yep.
I don't remember that part.
You have to pick a flavor, birds or fish.
Okay. So let's practice. We'll practice right now, guys.
Okay.
Okay. So you be the auditor.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll be and so you pretend, you each take a role. Claire is going to be the counselor and I'm going to be the person being audited. And I'm the one who gets to bull bait, which is kind of try to trip her up. And she can't react to me doing any of that. And if she reacts, you'll react because I'm sort of like a top level bull baiter.
Also, you have to clarify that in this, we're just practicing. So you are actually my coach. So when I mess up, you have to say flunk.
Yeah, and this is all written by L. Ron Hubbard exactly in detailed descriptions how to do all this. Yep. But anyone who's been in Scientology any amount of time, this is one of the very first things you do, no matter who you are. Yeah,
I could say, I don't know. I think I've done in excess of 300 hours of this that we're about to demonstrate.
Oh, I've done more than that. There's a course you do, and it's called Professional TRs, the Professional TRs course. And you can do that course at any organization in the world. Any like what's called a Class 5 organization can deliver that course. But if you want to be a rock star, and if you do that course at Flag in Clearwater, then that's the best place you could possibly do it. If you say I did pro TRs at Flag, well then you're rock solid. No one can doubt your ability to do training routines.
I have next level over that.
What's that?
Mine was passed by David Miscavige.
Oh, I know, but that's a Sea Org only kind of thing. Most public Scientologists are not going to get that. Yeah, I did the pro TRs when I was a kid, and I did it at Flag. So I consider myself not only have amazing TRs, but I have amazing bull bait skills. So bull baiting is just trying to trip up the auditor in effort to train the auditor not to get tripped up. Okay, so we'll do it. You ready? So yep. This is actually how you do it. You sit in a chair across from the person, and if I'm the coach and the one doing the bull baiting, I would tell her, okay, do you say TR0 bull bait? What is it?
Well, you just said we're doing TR4.
Is that TR4 bull bait? What do you call it?
Yeah, it's TR4.
TR4, but don't you say bull bait, TR4 bull bait, or you just say start TR4?
Yeah.
Okay, start a TR4.
Do birds fly?
Hey, gingers, sweetness, ginger.
I'll repeat the auditing question. Do birds fly?
Yes.
Thank you. Do birds fly?
Well, how many birds are we talking about? Are we talking about like a whole flock of birds, or like ducks, or like, are we talking about chickens? Because I'm not sure chickens do that much, but I'm not sure. Or what is it? A penguin? Is a penguin a bird?
I'll repeat the auditing question. Do birds fly?
Not in my house. They don't.
Okay. Do birds fly?
Okay, that's it. And I would say, okay.
Nice try, honey.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you want to be technical, you were doing a little bit of moving around and you were smiling a little bit. So
okay.
if we were being, if somebody was
pretty
watching,
good for purpose of demonstration.
Yeah, that's how it is. Anyway, the bull baiting though, that's just light. That's light bull baiting.
Yeah, and to answer Elsie's question here, because we're spending a lot of time on this, bull baiting is I would just be sitting looking at you, and you would be making every effort to try and make me react, flinch, laugh, cry, you name it. I've done all of those things while I'm
you can actually,
bull-baited.
and this is it's pretty popular, is to smack your hands together right in front of the other person's face, or just scream at them.
Yeah. The other thing is to be really inappropriate to females.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you say like,
when I was 10, I had somebody unbuttoning my shirt.
Yeah, you can touch the person too. Mm-hmm. As the coach, and I could. We're kind of stacking the deck because we're a couple.
Right.
This person could just be totally random. Like, you could get paired up with anyone when you do this. You could get paired up with somebody who you've never met before, and that's encouraged because that person can be saying super inappropriate things about you, and then you wouldn't have to and you wouldn't know them, and you would be like, what? And you might react to somebody. But that we did 5 minutes. You could
Right.
you could do this. Well, you have to do it until that person doesn't react to anything, like nothing. And you could you could easily do this for 2.5 hours every single night for several weeks.
Yeah.
And not pass.
Yeah, because when you're doing it with just your eyes open or your eyes closed, if you move, you scratch, you blink, you yawn, all of those are flunks. And then you have to start over again until you can do 2 hours without
Non-stop.
Any reaction, nonstop.
Like they set a timer when you start.
Yeah.
And I got to put this up. Paired up with Mr. McHansey. Yeah. And there's some people, I like some of these. Can emu and ostriches mate? Yeah. There's also, it's just, it's basically, I'm trying to think of it. This is all part of the programming so that you do not react when somebody says, oh, Scientology, those are the guys that believe in the space aliens. You just be like, no, we don't believe in space aliens. Yeah. And most of them don't know that they believe in space aliens because they haven't gotten to that point. But
and even if you did, you would never let on because that would be, you just can't.
Yeah. There were people that asked me tons of times about the space aliens, and I always laughed. I was like, what? Space aliens? No, we don't believe in space aliens. Are you crazy? And then as soon as I got out, watched South Park, and then asked Claire, she's like, yeah, we actually, they did believe in space
You're
aliens.
like, what the heck? Like,
yeah. Oh, here's a good one. Destiny. Okay. Thank you, Destiny. She said, this is the definition of grooming. That's exactly what it is. They're grooming you to be able to not react. And also, well, when people are doing the auditing, when you're doing auditing on people, sometimes they're going to say insane things in the counseling session. And also, they could be mad at you because they want to end, like the person you're counseling could be like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. And you have to just say, I'll repeat the auditing command, and you have to just keep doing the thing. You can't when you're a counselor, you can't get into a conversation with the person. No. You ask them a question, they answer the question, you see what reads on the e-meter, and then you ask them the next question. And there could be hundreds of questions that get asked in one counseling session, and very, very little of that is any kind of two-way back and forth between the, like, if the person says, if Claire asks me the auditing command and I say, I really want to wrap this up because I'm going to, I've got an appointment and da-da-da-da, she's just going to say, thank you. I'll ask you the question again. And you're just like, what?
Yeah. And comments are supposed to be completely disregarded. So if you're just saying, oh, I saw something outside of the window, you just pretend they never even said anything. Yeah. But an origination, like, oh, my head is starting to hurt, or I'm feeling upset because, my friend argued with me, or something like that, then you acknowledge that. But then you still go back to the question. You never change the subject or talk about anything else on this kind of a process, which obviously to birds fly and to fish swim is specifically and intentionally chosen to be, quote unquote, like not related to anything important or significant. It's just to practice the process of repeating a question over and over to get an answer.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Was it Elsie, I think, was the one who asked that question? Thank you, Elsie. Good late evening from here in Germany. Thank you, Marc.
Nice. Thanks for being here.
Marc. I can't. It's too many. It's too much. Marc. Thank you, Marc. I don't know what that is. Marc Mirdrodjigal. Christy says, hi from Wollongong, Australia. Enjoy the show from work. Thank you,
nice.
Christy. Okay, here's another super chat. Did COB have any redeemable qualities as a person, or was he just awful across the board? Pun
Pun
totally
intended.
I mean, he was pretty charismatic. He was sort of evil, I want to say, on a kind of a. I was doing an interview today with a reporter from a reputable newspaper. I'll say, semi-reputable, I guess. I generally considered to be reputable. And he was asking, like, what was your first impression of David Miscavige? And the thing we got to was when I got to the property in 1990, I arrived there just a little after my birthday in May of 1990. And in August of 1990, there was a flood at the international headquarters, at the INT base. There was a massive flood. And this occurred on August 2nd. Was it August? No, August 10th.
Yeah. Yeah, Jackson and I talked about that extensively that day.
August 10th. And David Miscavige, when you're in the Sea Org and you're in Scientology, they have this thing called lowered conditions. And it goes, the lowest is confusion, and then it's doubt. Is it doubt or treason?
Confusion, treason, enemy, doubt, liability, non-existence, danger, emergency.
Okay. So, but the lowest one is confusion. And in order to get out of one condition, you have to do a whole bunch of steps. And even in one of them, you have to like petition to the entire group to get out of that condition into the next condition. But because there was a flood at the international headquarters, David Miscavige assigned all of the people in Golden Era Productions a condition of confusion. And because there was a flood, because water fell out of the sky, we were in confusion. And that was on August 10th, 1990. And the penalties that were instated, it was sort of a state. So if you were late for a muster, like a meeting, which there were 3 or 4 a day at that time, usually after each meal and one at the end of the night. If you were late for any one of those crew musters, then you would have to do an all-night amends project, which just basically meant you didn't get to go to sleep and you had to work, not doing your job, doing something that benefited the group or somebody else. You had to do that all night long and then just go to post in the morning like normal. And if you were late a second time, then you would be assigned to the rehabilitation project force. And that state and those penalties were in force until Thanksgiving and then in addition to that, we had 15-minute meal breaks. There was no bonuses. There was no liberties. There were no, any perks that you had, those went out the door. And I also remember not getting paid for pretty much that whole year. My Social Security statement, I think it was for 1990. There was 2 or 3 years where it was a 0 on my Social Security statement that I got from the government. And either way, that was in effect until Thanksgiving of 1990. But I'll tell you, David Miscavige did lighten up. For Thanksgiving, we were allowed to have a 45-minute meal break. So... with gravy. I think we might even got some cranberry sauce. But that was that was a few months in, welcome to David Miscavigeville. he could really, and that whole thing, the condition of confusion assignment, that whole thing, it was all written by David Miscavige, basically calling out everybody on the property as being complete scumbags. So I'm trying to think if he has any other redeeming qualities. I can't think of any. How about that?
No, I tend to just, the memories that stick out, none of them are positive, so.
Yes. John. Claire, you said yesterday I should talk to my Sea Org sister in person. I'm going to see her soon. How do you suggest I approach it? Would she get in trouble if I talk to her about it and she reports it?
Yes, my suggestion would be to talk with her, try to connect with her personally. Like, how is she doing? What's her goals? I don't know how old this person is, but just asking questions like, do you have plans to have children, or, what are your retirement plans, or we should go on a vacation together. Definitely nothing over, try to get the person to open up and tell you how they're really doing, because the fake, it's called good roads, fair weather. Oh, yep. The roads are great. The weather is great. Life is wonderful. You have to get under the surface to ask deeper questions and understand, so what's your boss like? What's your schedule? What do you do on a daily basis? How do you like what you do? Things like that would, I think, at least tend to get a person to start talking without, you don't want to shut down any communication. But in-person communication is the best start, but you just have to be very, very gentle.
Yeah, definitely don't mention us.
No. Hey, you want to watch some SPTV with me? No, don't do that.
The best part is to, exactly what Claire said. The only thing that I would add is, I would say, if you ever need anything, or you ever want to go on a vacation, or you ever want to stay with us, I would say you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, you always have a place here.
Yeah, I would just make sure that she knows, if she does leave and decides that she doesn't want to be there anymore, that there is a place for her to go, and that she knows your email or your phone number, or get her to commit it to memory, or whatever you could do, but that she could always get a hold of you if she needs to. That's what I would say. Thanks, John. Hopefully that works out.
Good luck.
Claire, it was nice hearing about the way you connected with Jenna Miscavige Hill while she was in. I just finished listening to her book. Oh, wow. Does she say that in her book?
Yeah, that
she
was
does?
A crazy story. Yeah, because I flew back with her to LA from Clearwater. Do you remember?
That's right. I remember that. When you came back, she came back as well.
Yeah, and we really connected. She's an amazing person, and had a really tough upbringing, and she was always rebelling correctly. Yeah. So
she was not going to get molded by them, no matter what they did. She would have none of it. I didn't know that she mentioned you in her book.
Yes, she did. She talked about the whole thing, because we became very close, because nobody else could have a conversation. Nobody else would not bullshit her, is the bottom line. And
I was going to say, in one of the spy files, they have Jenna and her husband Dallas, they have a whole spy file.
Well, yeah. And the reason, and that's also the fact that Jenna and I were so close, is also the reason why, when Jenna was getting out, they said, you can talk to anybody, but you can't talk to Marc and Claire.
They literally said she could talk to other SPs, but not Marc or Claire. Yeah. And that is in her spy file. She told us that they told her that, but I never saw it from the church's end. And when I was going through one of the spy files, I actually found the document where it said what they told her. And they told her exactly what she told us they told her.
Yeah. And I love that the first thing she did is say, hey guys, you want to meet up for dinner? And remember we drove down to San Diego?
I do.
Yeah. Anyway, it was awesome. Jenna is an amazing person.
Yeah. And I also remember that when we went down there, I don't remember if it was that first, we went down there a few times, I think, but we went down there one time. And when we got there, they said, hey, we can meet up with you, but you can't come to our house because our family are really worried that they're going to get declared if they know that you went to our house.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, we are so scary.
Yeah. The funniest thing
Jenna's family had escaped from the Aunt Bays, her mom and dad. And then Dallas's family, they weren't in the Sea Org. They were just Scientologists. So they were the ones that were worried about us going there.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was just going to say the story that I always heard that struck me about Jenna's state of mind. And I actually never got to ask her about this, But when she was about 7, she was getting some counseling. And so at the end of the counseling session, you go to the examiner who you pick up the e-meter, you hold the cans, and normally they'll look at your needle, the activity on the e-meter, and they'll say, "Thank you, your needle is floating." So Jenna went for an exam. And like I said, I think she was 7, maybe even 6. She picks up the cans. The examiner says to Jenna, "Thank you, your needle is floating." And Jenna says, "No, it's not, you fucking bitch."
That was when she was 7. Okay. We should ask her. She probably says, "Yeah, that happened a few times."
I was like, wow, she's not on this same boat like we are, the rest of us stupid people are.
Yeah. Destiny again. Destiny, thanks. It says, "Marc, it seemed like you tried to bring as much levity as possible to your daily life in Church of Scientology. Do you think that helped you more to navigate the internal politics or not?" Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because everybody there, thank you, Destiny, everybody there is so serious about everything.
Including me. Remember you?
Oh, yeah. Claire was like that, too. Like, "Oh, this happened. That means this is going to happen, and I'm going to get in trouble." I'd be like, who gives a shit? Tell them to fuck off. And be like, but no, it's a comma of offense, which is like a justice action you get. And I would just say, yeah, who cares? Like, people have better things to do. Like, we have stuff to do. Like, quit getting all worried about this is going to happen and I'm going to get in trouble and that. It's just like, if you get in trouble, you get in trouble. Whatever, you're going to get in trouble. That's inevitable. Just don't get worked up about it. Just do your thing. And if you get in trouble, you get in trouble. And then you just have to get out of trouble. It's kind of like, in Scientology, they attach significances to everything. So if you do this, then that means this, and then this will happen. It's just, so exhausting. Anyway, yeah, so I would joke around a lot, and I would try to make fun to lighten the mood, and also to get people to get work done, because that was mainly my job for most of the time there, was to make things. So we had to make cassettes, or we had to make DVDs, or laser discs, or VHS, or whatever it was. For a majority of the 15 years, it was my job to do those things. And if people are all emotional and worried about this and worried about that, you usually don't get a lot of work done. So I try to keep them like upbeat, get some Depeche Mode playing, get rock it out. Let's get some work done. Don't worry about all the nonsense that's out there. We're in here doing this. But it was a giant waste of time anyway, so I might as well have fun doing it. John Satowski, for the SP shop, how about toilet paper with pictures of DM on it? I don't know if that seems like it would be very expensive. It might be fun as a novelty gift. I will have to look into that, John. I don't have high hopes, but I will look into it for sure. I know there's places where you could do all kinds of nonsense like that, but I'm not sure that's going to be a big seller. We're trying to think of things. We're trying to come up with things that people want to buy.
Yeah, somebody was suggesting the other day Xenu candies. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's also another one. Maybe. I love me some candy. I'm not supposed to eat it, but I do love candy. Thanks for that, John. Okay, hi guys. Love all the SPTV. Also, you guys laugh. We do laugh. I think laughing and comedy is it is a healing thing. I think a lot of times when you're having an argument or you're having a disagreement, or maybe you don't see eye to eye on things, I think if you can make the other person laugh and you can laugh at the same time, that is a good way to sort of get over the nonsense of the upset or the disagreement. And I will tell you one of the best examples of this I have ever seen.
I knew this was coming. I could read your bubble from a mile away.
One time, I don't remember what had happened.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, you say what happened, and then I'll tell the story.
Yeah. So, Marc, you had been in trouble, which was not uncommon, but you had actually been not even allowed to come home for about 4 months. And this was when I was in Religious Technology Center, and it was another of the times that I was being heavily, heavily pressured to divorce you, and which I hadn't done, but I was really pissed. And I was just kind of fed up, honestly, with the fact that like you weren't even allowed to come home. I couldn't see you. I was frustrated. To be fair, you weren't really the target of my frustration, but you were who I could take my frustration out on. And since I hadn't seen you, I kind of had this like nasty, cold shoulder attitude going on. I admit that. So yeah, so
Okay.
we had been working. So Saturday, the whole property. We would do outdoor renovations and manual labor. We came home. It's the first time I'd seen you. Like I said, maybe even more than 4 months, maybe 5 or 6 months. And I was in a friggin' mindset that it was all your fault and you were the reason. And I was being a witch. So
Okay, so now let me tell
I
the
took
story.
a shower. So I got in the shower.
Yeah, let me tell the story now. Okay, so I was home. She got home right after I did, whatever. And I was like, hey, how's it going? Like, it's been forever. I hadn't seen her in months. And she just didn't say anything. Like, she didn't say a word. She just got in the shower and was like cleaning up from doing all the construction work all day or whatever.
I have nothing to say to you.
Yeah, so that's what it was. Anyway, so I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to get to take a shower right now because I guess that's that. But so then I went and we had a CD player in our room, and I put a CD on and I queued it up. I went to the right song, and then I let the song play a little. It skipped, and I queued it right up. And then it was a Madonna CD. It was Claire's CD. And so she walks out of the shower, and I went, play. And it goes, love don't live here anymore. And
I started laughing.
yeah. And I was like, there we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah. But that's like a Tuesday for me. You know, I'll do that. I'll work something up. If I got little to work with, you know, I got to make the most of it. So, but yeah. So that's a good example of how I would try to lighten it up.
Of everybody, I think you had a unique skill to bring humor to something that was otherwise very dark and depressing. And, you know, if you can't laugh about it, then what are we going to do? Sit in the corner and cry? That's not entertaining.
Yeah. And that was it wasn't just with Claire. I would do that anywhere and everywhere. And that's sort of what I was stoned for, was like, oh, here comes Marc, you know, like, what's going on? And be like, oh, did you hear about, you know, blah, blah? And anyway, Calico26 says, would you be willing to do an episode on the reports that Claire wrote on you and read the letter that she wrote you and gave you her rings back? Would be interesting, her mind space back then.
Oh my God. It's
if
brutal.
you,
it's
the little sentence that the little preamble that she set that last story up with. Oh, this letter blows that away. This letter, I have the letter.
I'm embarrassed by it. I wish we didn't have that letter. It's just awful.
I kept it.
It's absolutely horrifying.
We don't have the reports that she wrote on me, but essentially, we know what that was in them. But it is what it is, and now we look back on it. But I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to throw Claire under the bus. We've already talked about it and why she did what she did, and she was being pressured by her bosses and all that stuff. So, anyway, so we won't get into that. I'm sure Claire doesn't want us to do that. Semper949, thank you for the super chat. Marilyn, hello. Question for Claire. Marc wrote in BFG, Blown for Good, that your sister let you use her email to escape. Did she get in trouble? I hope you are reunited someday.
Thank you, Marilyn. And yes, my sister, Yeah, I kind of feel bad about that because I had to. I mean, to be fair, I was told not to tell anyone of my family that Marc had escaped. So since I couldn't tell them, then therefore kind of opened the door to me having my sister send Marc an email saying, "Call Claire at 6:00 tomorrow morning."
With a new phone number, because they took her phone and they
Yeah.
changed her phone out so that I couldn't call her after I escaped. So then,
But then, yeah. But
yeah,
my
so-
sister, I know she did get in trouble, and she left a message for me, then crying, and it was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, and
On the
then,
new phone?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, so somebody said, "Oh, you emailed and da 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 da."
Well, she had left me this message, and I tried to call her back, and
and so
then
they
my mom
knew.
said, "Don't call her. She's really having she's struggling with this," and I was like, "Brilliant." Like I'm not.
Yeah. To be clear, Claire has a brother and two sisters. Her
Yeah.
brother did a hate video. Her mom did a hate video, and your stepdad did a hate video.
Yeah.
The two sisters did not do hate videos that we know of.
Yeah.
So we're hoping the sisters are not in Scientology anymore, and that's the reason why they didn't do the hate videos. We don't know, but they still, it's always a Sophie's choice. So do the
Yep.
sisters, if they talk to Claire, then they can't talk to their brother and their mother and their father. So we don't, I mean, I don't have any bad feelings
Nope.
towards my family that won't talk to me, because I know if they talk to me, then they won't be able to talk to my mom or my brother. Or, I don't, it's just sort of like it's Scientology that's organized this whole nonsense. So you can't get upset at the victims of Scientology. You have to go to the source of the problem, not to the end product of the problem. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate, but
I don't know though. I have two very different perspectives on that too. I agree with that. On the other hand, I also think that as a parent, like how can you possibly do that to your kids and sleep at night? You
Well,
know, that's
yeah.
that's the flip side.
Obviously, the parents should leave and take the kids with them, and then
Right.
everybody could talk to everybody, and then you don't have to put up with any of the Scientology nonsense. That is the bottom line. But they're in a cult, and
Yeah.
they are
They're-
brainwashed by the cult, and that's why they do what they do. So it's sort of like it is what it is. I will tell you, there's a flip side though. We've heard of people who paid their freeloader debt. They did their A through E steps. Those are these steps you have to do in Scientology to get back in good standing with Scientology. They did all those things, and then the second Scientology said, "Okay, you can talk to your mom again." And then that person calls their mom, and the mom's like, "When are you going to go back into the Scientology org and do some counseling and do," when you know it's all bullshit. The only reason you did all that stuff was so you could talk to the mom. And then you talk to the mom, and the mom's like, "When are you going to start doing some stuff in Scientology?" You're just like, oh boy. And we've seen that on multiple occasions where people say they did all the stuff and they played nice, and then it was just like, ugh. And so the one thing that we are sort of, I don't want to say it's, it's a good, whether it's a good thing or it's just a weird byproduct, is we don't have to worry about in-laws. we don't have any in-law nonsense. And we also, in the real world, not anything to do with Scientology, we hear a lot about mother-in-law this, father-in-law that, brother-in-law, sister-in-law. We hear about all kinds of drama. We don't have any of that drama because we don't have any in-laws.
Right.
So, yeah. Anyway, that's that. Flor Garza. Thank you guys for the book. I'm so excited to read it. Air has an
It
amazing
has an
cover.
amazing
The artwork.
cover.
The artwork is simply great. Yes.
Floor, I put that up because Floor was one of the people that won when we hit
Yes.
27,000 subscribers
Nice.
last
Thank
week.
you,
Yeah.
Flor. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Maybe some of you are new and haven't, I don't know when I talked about it, or I might have not even talked about it on our channel. But when I did my book, I don't I'm not a writer and I don't make books. So I needed to round up some folks that knew how to do all this. So I got a guy who actually designed all of the interiors to all of the Scientology books, who was an amazing digital artist. And he had escaped somewhere around the time I had escaped. And I tracked him down and I said, hey, I'm going to put out a book. Would you mind designing it? And he did the interior, the spine, the cover, all of the artwork for my book. He did everything, including the art on the cover. And he has agreed. Has he agreed to do yours as well, Claire?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to do Claire's book as well. But then I needed somebody to print it. So then I got a hold of the gal that used to do the printing for Scientology, and we got her to print it. And then I had to get a hold of somebody to edit it. So I found this guy that used to edit a lot of Scientology books, and I got him to edit it. And I leaned on a lot of Sea Org member talent to be able to whip that book together in a month or so.
Yep. Hey, someone said Aaron's in the house. Woohoo!
Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining Ron.
Yeah.
Not a sheeple. Hi from Southern Ontario. I'm a regular viewer and make sure I catch as many live streams as possible. You all rock. I agree with Amy. Keebler Elf needs to be in jail. He's despicable. It would be nice if the Keebler King, the Scientology boss baby, would be held accountable for all of the abuse that he's dealt out. And I was telling this reporter that I was talking to today, there's got to be, the karma train has got to just be, have a whole car waiting for David Miscavige. If Claire is being the auditor, then how is it just a drill and Marc is the coach? Well, in the scenario that we were doing, the coach is the one who's trying to train the auditor.
Yeah.
The thing we were doing is not a real counseling session. It's a mock counseling session. And the person getting counseled in the mock session is the one who is the senior of the two. He's the boss. And then in a lot of things, they call it a twin. So like, let's say I'm starting a course and Claire is starting a course. Well, because we're starting the same course around the same time, you get paired up with that person. And so I would be the coach for Claire. And then once she passes, then she's the coach for me. And then once I pass, then we go to the next step. And then we do that again. And that's how you do the entire course. It's called, what do they call it? Roundabout? What do they call it? Isn't it called roundabout? Or they have a name for it.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
As I told you, I'm not in my best form tonight, honey. Sorry.
It's all good. Anyway.
Round robin, something like that.
They call it roundabout or flippy dippy ding dong or some stupid thing that no one ever made up.
It's not co-audit. It's whatever. It'll come to me.
Yeah. It's a rock robin.
My battery's at 20%.
Okay. Oh, Bella Lotta. I admire how dedicated you both are to your mission. I'm amazed at your strength of character under immense pressure. Sometimes I wish I could reach out and hug you when it looks like things are rough for you.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
We appreciate that. And when that Aftermath show came out, people would come up to us in public, just random. We didn't even know them. The worst one was at the supermarket. The checkout lady had seen the show, and I'm like going, putting my groceries on the thing, and she looked up, she goes, "Oh my gosh!" And she literally walked around, and she came up to me and she gave me a big hug, and I was like, "Okay, thank you." Okay. And she was like.
Or what about that guy that we ran into at the rec center? He literally started crying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
He said, "Oh my God, I didn't realize you were the same." Because even the checkout lady, we knew her in our personal lives before the show came out. And then when the show came out, it was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe, because we didn't tell anybody. We don't lead with that. Like, oh yeah, I used to be in a cult for 25 years. Anyway, yes. Did you hear about the AF card drop, the Aftermath card drop at Pack Base? Yeah. Wasn't it like 5,000 cards or something like that?
Wow.
Yeah, I heard about it. I think it was posted somewhere on social media or Facebook or, yeah, that's amazing. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I did hear about it. Thank you, Joshua. Yeah, good job. Stephanie. Hi, Marc and Claire. Stephanie used to comment. Where was it that she would comment? It was on Twitter or somewhere. And whenever I would see it, I would always say, because it's spelled with a Stephanie spelled with an F, I would always just say, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie's here. And it would make her laugh. Stephanie Hutchinson is a rock star. Stephanie Hutchinson has a website. We should put a blog. We should put a link to it in the description.
Yep.
Make a note. Make a note.
Yep. I'll make a note.
Anyway, we would do all these events in Scientology and shoot all these videos, and David Miscavige would fill it with so many lies and falsehoods, but nobody would know. Nobody would ever fact check these things. I'd never heard of one person fact checking it. And I would always joke, if somebody ever fact checked these things, they find out that these videos are full of nonsense and lies. Well, Stephanie over here, she started fact checking them, and she started writing to the people that they were talking about in the videos. And I want to say probably 95% of the people that answer her are like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't support Scientology. I was supporting this drug-free thing. And they're like, and you know, like, oh, that's a Scientology front group.
Well, and remember, the best was that actually Scientologists would write reports to Religious Technology Center data person
all the time,
saying this was a false report in this event.
Yeah. They would say
very often.
It said the org was filled. That wasn't org people. That was Golden Era used people, and they just brought people in off the street and put them in course rooms or, you know, whatever we did when we shot these videos. Scientology relies on a lot of movie magic. I will tell you that right now. There's a lot of stuff happening in Scientology that ain't happening in real life, but they make it look like it is. Anyway, so thank you, Stephanie, for all the work that you do. And Scientology has been going really hard on Stephanie on Twitter, making up all sorts of nonsense, as they do with anyone who exposes anything they do. And that's another thing. When people say, oh, there's a hate site, I'm like, you know what they say, Stephanie? You ain't doing it right if you don't have a hate site. Anyway, so she's doing a good job. Thank you, Stephanie. Oh, Juliana. I didn't know that. Juliana is an ex-Scientologist. I was not aware of this, Juliana.
Yeah.
Juliana says, I would have flunked Claire there at a moment. Marc was being nice.
I would have too.
Sorry, Claire.
I agree with you, Juliana.
People were like thinking
I was out of practice.
Yeah. People were thinking that I was being easy on her. I said I was being easy on her.
I know.
People give me a lot of flack.
That's why I marked that. I agree.
Yeah. Yes. You're right, Juliana. I could have flunked her so quick, but you have to really be blatant as an example to see how it is. But even the slightest smile or any smirk or anything, that's an immediate flunk. Yep. Destiny Salazar, SPTV Theater. Thank you. Yeah, we're doing demos up in this, you know. Chase Weaver, Marc and Claire, are you both surprised that people like Greg Wilhare has stayed in Scientology? Any other people you're surprised haven't left?
Yep.
Yeah, there are a bunch of people. You know, left. The other thing is that that's a good question, Chase. Thank you for that. Yeah. So Greg Wilhare, his wife Sandy Wilhare, was kicked off of the property. She was a class 12 auditor at one point. She was one of the most highly trained counselors in all of Scientology. And didn't she work directly with L. Ron Hubbard?
Yep.
She worked directly with L. Ron Hubbard. One of the very few people that was trained as high as her that was also personally worked with L. Ron Hubbard. She was made the dry cleaning in charge at the imp base for a long time. Like, she was in charge of taking executives' clothes to the dry cleaners and back.
She wouldn't you agree? She's one of the people that the Sea Org did not go well with. I mean,
well, she
aged.
Well,
so
but also
hardcore.
didn't she have MS at one point?
I think she did. Yeah.
She didn't get out of the Sea Org. She just got kicked off of the property and put down in Los Angeles. And there is even a spy file that talks about getting rid of her for once and for all. That was Greg Wilhare's wife. He divorced her. Yeah, he divorced her and he married another gal that was also an RTC. Not
to mention, he married the one who he went to South Africa to bring back.
Yeah, there was a girl. Not weird. Yeah, there was a girl that escaped from RTC. She went to South Africa. He was sent to get her. And then once he got her, they went. And did she go on the sabbatical with him and Marty?
No, she did. She did the running program at the.
Okay. She did something, but when
Greg was her sec checker.
Yeah, he was her counselor, her interrogator, and after he interrogated her, he married her. And the other thing is that when Greg Wilhare, oh wow,
sorry.
Claire is really good at putting up those questions. Just have to hit that little star. You don't have to put the show part.
I know.
Anyway, Greg Wilhare, when Marty escaped, Greg Wilhare was sent with Marty to the Freewinds, and they went on a sabbatical for like a year.
I remember reading that issue, and I was like, wait, what is a sabbatical?
Yeah.
Why have I never heard of this?
Because it's not a real thing in Scientology. They made it up.
Just like arbitration, it's not a thing.
They made it up so that nobody would know that Marty escaped and that he had to be brought back. He escaped, was brought back, and then he went to the Freewinds, I want to say for several months, if not like a half a year or a year.
Yeah.
And him and Greg Wilhare, this is a perfect segue, him and Greg Wilhare twinned and did all these training and counseling things together so that they both could get fixed up. And then when Marty came back, he was the shiniest turd there ever was. And for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years before he wasn't. And then he escaped again and they never got him back. And also, this comes up all the time. Marty didn't go back to Scientology. He doesn't work there anymore. He just flipped his alliance. So a lot of people think that he went back to Scientology. He doesn't work for Scientology. He's not in the Sea Org. He's not a member. He just does videos, nasty hate videos about other people who are currently exposing Scientology as part of some weird agreement that they don't mess with him anymore. That's as much as we know.
I agree with the theory that I've seen bounced around that they took him off the board. So he had already spoken out, and now he's reversed himself. So no matter what he says to anybody, nobody trusts him, nobody believes him, and he's a non-entity, which I hope he's happy with his choices, because that's a...
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is. Barb Sylvie says, I was showing a video from Saturday Night Live to one of my 30-year-old former students, and a John Travolta commercial came on. Before I said a word, he yelled, "Be gone, Scientologist." SPTV, we're everywhere. Thank you, Barb. That's a very funny story.
Thanks for sharing that, Barb.
Yeah,
that SNL thing is so funny.
Yeah, people email me all the time saying, have you seen this video? Yes, I've seen all the Depeche Mode videos. I've seen all the Scientology. There is, I say that, and then of course I'm going to tell you this right now. I did a bunch of interviews for a German TV show that was essentially a documentary on the Office of Special Affairs, Scientology's spy wing, and I want to say they were comparing it to the Stasi, and they interviewed me. They interviewed a bunch of other German folks. They interviewed Mike Rinder. And this video, I think it came out in 2014. We got to put a link to it down in the description. If there's any Germans in here, I'd love to know what they're saying. It's in German, so I have no idea. Even when I'm talking, there's somebody else talking German over me, so I can't even hear what I'm saying. But yes, it is. there are a lot of great videos out there on Scientology, but I had never actually ever seen that video until somebody sent me a link to it the other day. And I was like, a video with me and Mike that's in Germany? I was like, Mike and I never did anything on that, but I didn't know who the other people were they interviewed, and they interviewed Mike evidently. So we'll put a link to that in the description.
Well, one of these days we'll have to put together a complete, like everything we've been in, because at this point it's a fair amount. Even things I've forgotten about, like the Four Corners show.
Yeah.
You know, the Australian Four Corners.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. I was trying to understand this question. It says COBILF. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but
Yeah.
it says, do you think I'd shut down if I got to keep some money? Do you think I'd shut it down if I got to keep some money and was promised immunity from prosecution? Love the Shoops. Sorry I was such a jerk. This is supposed to be a parody of COB.
Yeah.
I don't think you get immunity. If I got to keep some money and was promised. Yeah, no. David Miscavige is never shutting that thing down. It gets shut down, or somebody shuts him down, but he's not shutting it down to make a deal or anything like that. That's never happening. JLD is me says, please do DM's deposition reenactment soon. You know, Aaron has a master plan to do this deposition. It's going to take forever. It's long. It's pages and pages and pages and pages of dialogue. I could do it because I'm a yapper and I could yap endlessly, but like other folks really have to commit to do this. And also we would get so sidetracked along the way explaining things, and I don't know. It sounds like a great idea when you're talking about it, but going to actually do it it's a lot of work. My heart goes out to every Scientology member, the abuse. Yeah, no, it's not good. And that's why people ask me this all the time, don't give the Scientologists a hard time when you go to the organization, you're there in person. That's not going to be helpful. That's why even if you're going to go take a picture with the bobblehead, that's funny. You can go outside, take a picture. But the Scientologists, if you are overtly antagonistic or something to them, they're just going to shut down. They're not going to get any kind of message. It's when you're like a real person, like let's have a conversation type thing, and you're like compassionate or showing empathy, that is a possible way to connect with them. But being mean to them is not going to do the trick. And I mean, sometimes we joke about people on here that are in Scientology, and most of the time those people have done dastardly deeds. So that's where I'm kind of like, well, it is what it is. And also, there are other people that are in Scientology that may know those people and know that there's a possibility that they did dastardly deeds. And when we confirm that, it helps other people leave. So it's sort of a fine line to walk when you're making fun. I try not to be too mean-spirited, but and that's why when people send in the Shoops, if you're setting up David Miscavige on fire or putting him in a grave, we're not going to show it, which we have gotten a lot of those. So guys, you got to stop. And stop with the AI. Please don't send me more in any of the AI ones. They all look exactly the same to they're kind of like weirdly creepy. I think I might have like a David Miscavige AI generated phobia, because every time I see the pictures, I just have an uneasy feeling. So please don't send me any more of those.
Yeah, you made me think too. I think that one of the things that was the biggest surprise when we got out was how kind and gracious and just nice people are out in the real world. Yeah. You know, it sounds silly and simple, but it had a huge impact on me personally. I was just like, wow, there's really, really nice people out here.
Yeah, so. They do have a thing where I'm just trying to figure out how to explain this. They do have a thing where they portray the entire world outside of Scientology as drug addicts, prostitutes, and murderers. That's sort of everybody not in Scientology is evil. And there's 2.5% of people that are suppressives, no matter what. 2.5%, like more than well over the entire population of Scientology. There's millions and millions of people who are just born suppressives. But they are always trying to portray how the real world is just full of criminals and people that are up to no good. And Scientology's mission is to salvage those people and get them into Scientology so that they're not criminals. So when you get out in the real world and people are like, oh yeah, you can stay with me, or, I'll give you a job, or I'll do this. And you're just like, that doesn't seem like the criminals we were told these people were. Juliana Bittencourt. Oh my God, I just realized another Severance Scientology similarity. The wellness sessions. Please try to react equally to all facts. Hand orange covering eyes, hand orange covering eyes, hand orange covering eyes. I think that means those are emojis. The interface that we use here doesn't show us emojis. Anyway, yes, Juliana, there is... Ben Stiller is the one who... It's
brilliant.
I'm pretty sure he created... I know he at least directed it. I don't know if he wrote all of them. I think he wrote a bunch of them, and I think he directed half of the first season, I want to say. Or 6 out of 9 episodes or whatever. I heard an interview where he talked about it. But whoever put that thing together definitely... did some Scientology ripping. And there is a lot of things like that. Thank you, Juliana. There's a lot of things like that in mainstream media and the current zeitgeist, where people are making shows or making premises that are loosely based on Scientology, but because they don't use any of the lingo, they can get away with it, and it's very compelling. And, only the people that are putting it together know, well, I kind of stole this idea from what Scientology are up to. That reminds me of...
lack of material there.
Yeah, there's a former Sea Org member that used to be at the Ent base. Her name is Mariette Lindstein, and she has some amazing best-selling books that are... It's called The Cult of Fog Island is the name of it.
I think so, yeah.
The Cult on Fog Island. And then I think there's even a sequel book I
think she's done,
it's like a series.
3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this Cult on Fog Island she was in The Hole, and she was in RTC, and I can't read. The books are I think they're in Swedish, right?
I have it in English.
You do?
Yeah, I have the first one. It's really good.
Awesome. Anyway, is it anything like the base?
Totally. Totally. 100%. The escape, she escapes out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So many parallels.
Nice.
I mean,
we should put a link. Make a note. We'll put a link to those. Shows Mariette some love. Anyway, she's a super, super popular author over there in Swedeville. Dylan Chatterton says, Mugu somewhere up. Claire will know what that means.
Yeah,
yes.
Actually, some gum warsu up.
Yeah, there you go, Dylan. Dylan getting schooled over there. Mugu Gaipan as well is another one.
Exactly.
These are just nonsense phrases.
Don't get us started.
Yeah, these are just nonsense phrases that L. Ron Hubbard wrote that you could respond to the person when you're bull baiting them. You just say random nonsense. And there is a lot of... I have a pain
in my Zorch.
Yeah, I have a pain in my Zorch. Yeah, that's actually
pages and pages of them.
That Zorch line, I want to say that Mike Rinder used it in the Blown for Good rap.
Oh, nice.
That's he says awesome. That in his verse. He says,
"Oh yeah, somebody else said fizzle whizzle bum crumb." Exactly. Now we're on the same. Yes. We're on the same page of the same book.
Yeah, this is great. This is Apostate Alex. So this is another thing that they do. Apostate Alex says, this is also the reason a lot of ex-Scientologists say, okay, good. It's been drilled into us as a way of validating someone and confirming you've heard them. So in Scientology, if somebody, thank you for that, Alex. If somebody says, hey, I want to go to the beach. And then you say, okay, let's go to the beach. And then you say, thank you. Like you can't, if somebody says something to you, like let's say I ask Claire, hey, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
And then I just start talking about something else. That is not allowed in Scientology.
No, I know. And I'll be honest, I still kind of judge people when they don't answer, when they don't acknowledge. I'm like, gosh, you just left me hanging. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, but you know
like
what's really funny? I've listened to, like, I used to listen to Howard Stern a lot before I started just watching YouTube and podcasts and stuff. But I used to listen to a lot of Howard Stern interviews. He never, ever, ever will acknowledge somebody. He asks a question, you give an answer, he just asks the next question. He goes right to it. And it's funny because one of the things they teach you, or that is kind of being baked into the current media and YouTube videos and stuff, is to cut out all pauses, cut out all, oh, thanks for telling me that. Cut out all the nonsense. Ask a question, get the answer. Ask the question, get the answer. And I believe there's sort of a happy medium, but Scientology go way, way overboard on, what are you doing? I am doing this. Thank you for telling me that's what you're doing. Okay, thank you for thanking me for telling me what I'm doing. Well, thank you. And the best one ever is you have to give, when you're having any kind of conversation in Scientology, you have to give what's called an acknowledgement. And it has to be a proper acknowledgement. And there's a lot of debates on what is a proper acknowledgement. And the whole purpose of the acknowledgement is to let the person know that you heard what they've said, and for them to stop talking. That the whole purpose of the Scientology, what they call the calm cycle, is to control the dialogue of the conversation. So when you acknowledge somebody, and L. Ron Hubbard details this out, the purpose of the acknowledgement is to stop the person from communicating, to let them know you understood them, and to tell them to shut the fuck up. And that is the purpose of it.
Yeah, and let's not forget, too, the drill that TR 2.5. To get somebody to keep talking. Yeah,
so if you've asked somebody a question and they haven't fully answered it, you're supposed to give them a half acknowledgement. And that is an acknowledgement that lets you know that you've heard them, but that you would like to know more. And that's a whole nother thing you practice. And it's like, hey, Claire, what'd you do today?
I was working.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You're supposed to inflect at the end. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Like,
go on.
Anyway, but my favorite thing of all is Jason Begay, a good friend of mine, who is wildly successful these days. He has his own TV show called Chicago PD. He plays Sergeant Voight. He plays the main cop on the show, the Chicago. I think it's on NBC. Anyway, he argued. We shot a ton of films with him when I was at the Imp base. I have all kinds of amazing Jason Begay stories, but he would say he argued that if you say something to me, and I'll give you his version of an acknowledgement that he thinks is 100% a proper acknowledgement, and he fought for it, and they let him say, yeah, that's a proper acknowledgement. Okay,
so you want me to just give you a statement?
Yeah, and then I'll acknowledge you like Jason would say.
Oh, I had a good day at work today.
Please stop talking. He's like, it ends, it lets you know that I've heard you, and then it ends the conversation.
Please stop talking.
Thank you. No, that's it. He would say, thank you. Please stop talking. And he would say that to me. I'd be yapping about it. He would say, thank you. Please stop talking.
We do that all the time, and I didn't realize that's where it came from.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
that's
stop talking.
Yeah, that's what I use it all the time. Somebody's like,
I do too.
Thank you. Please stop talking. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate that. Yeah. Andy Fabulous. Okay, let's let's lock down the super chats. 7:15, guys. If you can do them, but there's a cutoff. And I can't guarantee that Claire won't star them because she loves starring super chats. But we're going to do a cutoff right now.
As everybody knows, honey, I'm a rule follower.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Except for when
rules hard to
she's
break.
going to get in trouble. Then the rules are a little loosey-goosey. Andy Fabulous says, this sounds like the perfect way to brainwash people. You are putting ideas into someone's mind, and the auditor brainwashes them themselves into believing it's not true. This must have happened to you. Yeah, well, that's the whole point of Scientology is you... This is the genius of L. Ron Hubbard. You could say he's crazy. You could say he was a big, fat, blubby guy. He definitely has the most horrible teeth that ever walked the planet. But thank you, Andy Fabulous.
Oh gosh.
But he made a way to brainwash you, but you do the brainwashing yourself.
Yeah.
You're in charge of the brainwashing, and then you twin up with somebody and you brainwash each other. And then that's how you do it. So you don't have to have... L. Ron Hubbard figured out a way to brainwash a bunch of people, and then he figured out a way to have them brainwash each other. And then he figured out, once you brainwash the people that are the most brainwashed, we'll put them in charge of all the brainwashing. And that's been going on since the 1950s.
Yeah, which, by the way, thanks to the viewer that mentioned last podcast on the left, I started listening to that today. There's a bunch of episodes, and it's really funny, but you reminded me of one of the things they're talking about, L. Ron Hubbard, and they're like, yeah, that dude has parallelograms for teeth.
Yeah. The best one, I think... I can't remember one of the comedians says, but your teeth are like, I love how it was Nikki Glazer said it about a girl named Jewel, who's like a pop artist. He said, I love how your teeth are just doing their own thing. Like each one of them's like doing their own thing. They're like the Spice Girls. They're all different colors and doing their own thing. What are your kids up to while you're doing your videos? Hopefully homework, Apple.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We always have them eat dinner before we get started over here, so they're good.
Yeah, they get to eat. They get to like go pick something up when we do these videos. So they're like happy as a clam, like, oh, we get Chick-fil-A or whatever. By the way, I did a bunch of research. I know what they're putting in that Chick-fil-A. You see these lines at Chick-fil-A that are just going all over the place. And I'm thinking, there's no way they're just chicken. There's something in there. And they're also closed on Sundays. And I found out, I did a very deep investigation, and that chicken has MS Jesus in it. And that's why people are lining up to get it. Anyway, Midwest Girl, maybe an SP and Allies alternative to Going Clear could be Going Cracker Liquor. Yes. This cracker licking thing is getting out of control. And now, I didn't know. I knew that girl, the cracker licker accuser. I knew that she used to be in international management before she got kicked out and put into Golden Era Productions. But I didn't know what her deal was there. And once I found out from Amy that she was a flat ball bearing up in management as well before she came down into Golden Era Productions, that's sort of... And Amy was the best. Amy said you could have even joked that you had licked the crackers, and she would have thought it was that you had actually licked the crackers. Yeah. And I think, in my heart of hearts, I think that we were joking around with her, and we would joke around with her all the time because she didn't get any of the jokes. So you could joke around with her, and she would think you were totally serious. She had no clue that there was some sort of prank or jokes or whatever going on. So I could have said, she could have eaten some crackers, say, like those crackers? Yeah, I licked them all. Ha ha! And then just walked away. And she would have thought, he licked the crack. I wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. Anyway, so the cracker liquor thing.
Let's just point out, like, it took her 18 years to remember this.
No, I guarantee.
18 years.
No. I guarantee they culled every single person. And this would happen. It's called an interrogatory. When somebody would escape or somebody was in trouble, they send out this form to everyone on the property and says, do you know of any crimes that Claire Headley may have committed while she was working in RTC? Has Headley ever said anything bad about RTC? Did Claire Headley joke or degrade in any way about RTC, and they cull for as much as they can get, and then they use that to do the hate videos we would see them all the time at the end base. And also, as soon as somebody takes off, it's just like in the real world. When somebody quits or somebody escapes or somebody leaves, just like you do in the real world, whatever's going on that's bad at the company or going bad at the Sea Org unit, it's all was that person. You'd be like, oh yeah, Marc, yeah, he wasted about $752 million last week. And you'd be like, what? He wasn't even spending any money. Oh yeah, no, evidently he was spending money. And you just like, oh, okay, this is ridiculous. Valerie Boljack, I would love to do a question list. What would you think of a person who did this? And list DM's actions. What would you like this person? Then, oh, that's DM. Of course they would deny, but maybe they would do some little thoughts. A question list? I'm not understanding it. Like make
I'm reading that as like make people think about David Miscavige, probably more so people who are in Scientology. Like, well, what would you think about someone who punched somebody on the sides of their head and throttled them and threw them up against a wall? What would you think of a person like that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah, that's a great idea, Valerie. That is a great idea, just to say what. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of what we're kind of trying to expose all of these things and little nuggets that are not. I mean, if you just talk about all the shitty things that David Miscavige does on a full-time basis, that doesn't make for the best YouTube content. But if you mix it in with other stuff and talk about cracker licking and maybe some shoops, and it's sort of a little bit more digestible. That's how I feel. I'm not an expert. I grew up in a cult. but
I also think that relating specific examples helps people to understand. Like, yeah, this was day in, day out, a normal day at the base.
Yeah, totally. George Massey. Thank you, George.
Thank you, George.
Appreciate it. Super chat, super sticker. Stuart Reed, did you intentionally hide lines from the Depeche Mode songs into your book? I caught a line from somebody wondering if I missed more. No, Stuart, every single chapter of my book is a Depeche Mode song, and there are Depeche Mode lyrics everywhere. And I really do genuinely believe that Depeche Mode saved me. And it was like kind of my rock through all that craziness. Was I always had this music to kind of escape to when things were getting really, really tough. And yeah, it was a major crutch for me. If I didn't have Depeche Mode as like an escape in that crazy place, there's no way I would have made it. And there's no way I'd be here today. I guarantee you that. So yeah, that was not an accident. I did that on purpose. Eileen MCP. Did you see Jimmy Kimmel's monologue at the Oscars this year? Said she was looking for L. Ron Hubba Hubba and Top Gun. Yes. That was very surprising to me, Aileen. Thank you for that. Eileen or Aileen. I thought for the longest time, all the Jimmys. Jimmy Kimmel and what's the other Jimmy? Jimmy Fallon. And I can't remember that Brit guy that does James Corden. They have been very, very Scientology friendly. And whenever there's a controversy going on and Scientology's in the news and Tom Cruise or Elizabeth Moss or any of these guys are on there, they just lob them softballs. They never get into it. Everything's hilarious. Anyway, so when Jimmy Kimmel did that, I was like, I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel might have just cut the Scientology cord on that one. That's not a funny joke to Tom Cruise. That's serious business. L. Ron Hubbard is like the most super Thetan in the whole universe. You don't joke about Hubba Hubba. Okay. So I was very surprised that he did it. I thought that other guy did the best though, that Gerard Carmichael guy, when he said trade the awards for Shelley. That was pretty amazing. Lisa Marchbanks, Dragonfish Handmade Goods, says, I'm in for a Xenu bobblehead. Yeah, nice. The more I think about it, we've been trying to make one of Leah. I'm telling you guys, we've been trying. It's hard. It's very hard. It's hard. You can do a guy, no problem. Like Mike Rinder, I knocked that one out of the park. First try, amazing. Mike loved it. We've sold gazillions of them, and they have helped
gazillions, but
they've helped the people escape via the Aftermath Foundation. We've helped set people up and get their lives on track. And I was thinking about it the other day. I bet you I could do a Xenu one, because who's going to disapprove it? Xenu ain't coming here and telling me it doesn't look like him. So sort of wide open there. I could pull it off, no problem. So we'll see. Melissa Ribe, can you hook John up with Kay Olsen? She'd be of help.
It's a great idea. John, shoot me an email. I know what that's about.
About the Sea Org member thing.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yes. Great idea, Melissa. Thank you.
And also, perfect segue again. Just knocking it out of the park tonight here, folks. Catherine Olsen is one of the people that was in the Sea Org a year ago, and somebody who knew about the Aftermath Foundation, or she talked to somebody, and then that person reached out to the Aftermath Foundation, and I want to say 2 weeks later. 2-3 weeks later, she wasn't in the Sea Org anymore, and now she's got a life.
We were picking her up at the airport.
Yeah. So, it's not like this is a lot of other people say like, "Oh, you guys just have an axe to grind."
Oh, she's here, by the way. She says, "Yeah, it's almost 2 years ago."
Almost 2. There you go.
June 11th, 2021.
There you go.
Will be her second anniversary.
You guys are like, oh, you just have an axe to grind. Why do you guys keep talking about this? You don't seem too busted up. You don't seem too victim. I'm like, no, we're the whole reason we're doing this is to get folks like Catherine out of there and get her to have her life. She hadn't talked. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I don't think she had talked to her sister or her mother in like 20 something years.
No, that it was about
Well, she was in the Sea Org.
It wasn't that long. It was like 14 years, but still, like the family in Minnesota, like her
she was
grandma,
in the Sea Org for 26 years.
27 years.
She was in the Sea Org for 26 years, and she hadn't talked to her family in 14 years, and she was miserable, and she's not anymore. Hopefully. She's doing
12 years. She just answered. She hadn't talked to her mom or her sister in 12 years.
There you go. Yeah. That's crazy, folks. How long have we not talked to our family? 2005.
18 years.
18 years. We're going on 18 years.
Yeah.
We did see my mom at a funeral.
And I saw my mom at a funeral, too.
There you go. So we've seen them, and we said, hi, bye.
No, I didn't. That was where I told her I loved her. And she said, I love you. I hope to see you again very soon. And then I went to give my stepdad a hug, and he started yelling at me in front of my entire family. And I said, don't you believe communication is the universal solvent? To which he stormed out of there. And that was fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why we're doing this.
I won that conversation, though, so it was okay.
Yeah. We're not doing this because we have an axe to grind. We're doing this because there's people there getting abused. If you escaped from a camp where they were abusing people and your friends were back there and you were just like, well, I'm doing great. I'm going to live my life. Sucks to suck. I'm not one of them. I'm doing my thing. There are people who've done that, and that's your right. If you want to do that, you want to do that. I'm not wired that way. I feel like I have an obligation to the people that we left behind. Yep. And
I absolutely agree. And obviously I could selfishly say, okay, I'm just going to lay low. I'm not going to say anything, and I'm just going to play nice to try and talk to my family. That doesn't help my family, and it doesn't help me, and it doesn't help anybody else. So not an option.
Yeah. I sent a comment on
yesterday's stream. It was sent with love. Bo Beats.
Bo Beats. Thank you, Bo Beats.
Yes, thank you.
Also, before I forget, there's a girl named Erin that made a question. She had a question about Delphi. I could see it in the super chats, but I could never find it in the comments. And she asked, her name was Erin. I can't remember the last name, but Erin asked if they're in Delphi, how many students there were. Is it like 10 or 20? No, Delphi, I want to say Delphi has hundreds of children at each of their locations that attend their schools. So you're talking about maybe 1,000 possible future Sea Org members that are just They're just being grown on a full-time basis through these Scientology schools. So, and a lot of times Delphi will say they're not a Scientology school. They're just a private academy. Oh, that's the word. I was trying to think of what they call themselves. They call it Delphi Academy because it goes from like preschool all the way to the end of high school. Anyway, they're not accredited. And if you go there and then try to attend college, you're going to have all sorts of nonsense because Delphi, at least when I went there, they were not accredited. And I know I've heard stories from a few of the people that went there that they had to jump through a lot of hoops to do college afterwards. But yes, it's hundreds, if not thousands of kids that are being kind of prepped to be Sea Org members. JLD is me. DM deposition. Put explanations as subtitles, maybe. That's not a bad idea either. That is a good idea.
And we can also do just excerpts of the more significant sections.
The other thing I was thinking is we could do it, and then we would just chop it into pieces. So we do DM deposition pages, 1 through 3, and then DM deposition pages 4 through 6. We could do it like that. That was another way I was thinking about after she commented earlier. Thank you, JLD is me. Rock it out with Kim D. What was it again?
Kim D.
Hi.
Oh, hold on.
It was hi.
Hi.
Yeah, rock it out with Kim D. Hi.
That's right. She
Thank
gave
you
us
for yet another evening of enlightenment and enjoyment. Slow and steady wins the race. Yes.
Yay. Well, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody.
I'm so not a fan of the super rushes. I even think 45 minutes is too short.
Yeah.
When we do those lives on Monday, I don't know. We're gonna figure something out. I'm not a fan. John Tatowski, for SP Shop, unsalted Tops saltine crackers. Advertise them as lick-resistant crackers. Yeah, John. Isn't John the one who gave me the other suggestion? It is food. John, just go to the store. You need to go shopping, okay? Go get some food, okay? He wants candy. What was the other thing he wanted? Yeah, no. We're trying to stay away from food. And
somebody was just saying in the comments, hey, where's I Love Pizza tonight? Yeah, I was like, oh boy, here we go.
That is one thing that I did notice. When I was watching that German documentary I did, I was about the same weight, but somehow my face was like a square. I don't know. They say the camera puts on 10 pounds. Oh, this camera put on about 30 pounds. Okay.
Okay.
I look much skinnier in the face than I did when I shot that video. It was only, 10 years ago. Clara. Thank you, Clara. To buy a drink before your next Depeche Mode concert, come visit Washington sometime. Thanks for spending time engaging with all of us. Absolutely, Clara.
Awesome. Thank
Is
you,
that the
Clara.
same Clara? I always ask if that's the Clara. Because she doesn't have her last name there. Clara is
She's
a rock
amazing.
star.
She was really kind. She was like, I'm keeping track of the link so you can go take some medicine.
Oh, good. See? Zing. I told you. Gary Jackson Moorhead. Hey, you two. Hey, Gary. Gary's. I talked to Jackson the other day. He's I think he's thinking about firing up a YouTube channel himself, and he's getting all his ducks in a row.
Yeah, and I started a comment from Marc and Marc Fisher is here, and he said Marc and Janice are going to be firing up a channel too, which is amazing.
Oh man, this is the best because these, Claire and I have tons of stories. We were only there for 15 years. Marc Fisher, Janice, these guys have 20, 30 years of crazy stories. There's no shortage of nonsense that went on over at that place. And they also have different viewpoints. And Janice has a totally different lens that she saw these things through. And Janice worked with Hubbard for years.
Yep.
So directly with Hubbard. And these people, there's stories to tell. And these are stories that David Miscavige does not want you to hear about. CG Paul SLP. I totally look forward to Monday and Tuesday nights with all you guys. You guys are doing a great job, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you, Courtney.
Appreciate it.
We appreciate you being here.
Heart-Shaped Isle. Have you watched Die Hard the movie yet? John T. makes fun of Tom C. and uses Church of Scientology type manipulation on Kevin Hart. Intriguing.
I watched it.
You
it
did?
Was awesome. Yep, I did. I just watched the clip of it, but yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's so weird to me that he's doing that. That's great. I love it. I mean, I'm going to watch the movie. I have a hard no, don't support those kind of things. But I know Claire's been watching that Handmaid's Tale, so I'm going to watch a Kevin Hart, John Travolta
For the record,
movie.
I did that so I could keep notes of the reasons why Elizabeth Moss is a hypocrite. And it's because I read the book. And
I was
really
just going to say,
it.
didn't you read the books?
Yeah.
Oh,
but, it's not my fault that, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Robert
there
King.
You have it.
I thought I read somewhere that disconnection was only used as a last resort if all other handlings were unsuccessful to handle antagonism. Robert, yes, it is used as the last resort, but there's only like 2 or 3 resorts before that.
In our case, like in my case, speaking for me personally, the thing that I did wrong was escape. And the day after that, they disconnected my family from me.
Yeah.
They called them in and said, you can't ever talk to her again. So, there were no middle steps.
To be fair, there is a policy which L. Ron Hubbard wrote about the international headquarters. And that is, if you escape, I have to back up a little bit. I have to prep this statement. In Scientology, there's an L. Ron Hubbard policy that says you never, ever close the door on somebody. You always leave the door just a crack open. And that's what the ADE steps are. The ADE steps are that crack in the door that you can do and get back into Scientology. And his reasoning is like, listen, people are basically good. And, we don't want to, what does he say? We don't want to ruin their entire eternity. So we let them come back. If they prove that they're worthy, we'll let them back in. Okay, so that's that. For the Imp base, there's a separate policy, which is written just to the Imp base, which is if you escape from the Imp base, they weld, and this is L. Ron Hubbard's word, they weld the door shut with an atomic branding iron. So once you escape and you're a suppressive person, it's sort of like you've done the heavy lifting for me, Scientology. I know you're not going to let me back. And L. Ron Hubbard said, you're not supposed to let me back. So let's do this. And to be fair, they have let some of the Imp-based people back, but not because L. Ron Hubbard said not to, but because they found out when you create people like SPTV, that doesn't work out too well for Scientology. So let's just let those people come back so we can take them off the board and we don't have to worry about them being a thorn in our side.
Yep.
Andy Fabulous, did I do this? Oh no, this is another Andy Fabulous super chat. I'm a Catholic, and listening to all the people who've blown, I sense that most, if not all of you, have no spiritual faith anymore. You only trust in your spouse, but not in a greater being. Are your kids affected? Well, I wouldn't say that I'm not. I didn't say that I wasn't spiritual. I said that I don't believe and I don't really subscribe to organized religion. Yeah. I am very spiritual, and I do think that there is some sort of master plan and there's sort of rhyme or reason to this thing. I don't think we all spontaneously combusted in a sea of mud or anything. No, I think there's something's happening here that's not normal. I'm not going to pretend to know what it is, but I believe my part of that is to try to do more good than bad and try to contribute and not try to just take. And I want to say that since leaving Scientology and sort of thinking, okay, like I don't have a compass anymore, I need to have a compass. That's been my compass. Try to do more than good. If you're going to work at something, do good work. If you're going to make a product, make a quality product. If you're going to help somebody, really help somebody, that kind of thing. And that's been working out amazingly for me. And I think that's, I don't think that I'm not spiritual.
No,
we let our kids, just so you know, we've had our kids go to, like I want to say, sort of religious schools where they have a certain belief system. We've had our kids go to,
they've gone to youth group
at different churches. They wanted to go. We said go.
Yeah.
If you like it, you like it.
We're just not going to make them prescribe to a belief.
I'm not going to.
But we've told them we accept people of all beliefs, and we're just, and again, speaking for myself and not what we've told our kids, I'm just traumatized by the thought of organized religion. But the Serenity Prayer is very meaningful to me personally.
Yeah. Anyway, I think we answered the question.
Yep, I agree.
We let people, I really do, even with Scientology, when we get them out, when we've gotten people out of the Sea Org, Mike Rinder's a perfect example. When Mike left the Sea Org and escaped, he still believed in Scientology. He just thought that the Sea Org was bad and David Miscavige wasn't the nicest guy in the world. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he was like, but I still believe in the technology. And I was just like, okay, no problem. And we hung out. We did things with him. And in private with Claire, I'd be like, give it a year or two. Like he'll figure it out. And almost for the most part, people kind of unsubscribe to the Scientology way. When they find out, when they do their research and they find out more information, they hear different things and they come to whatever the conclusion. And if they still believe that Scientology helps them, then I'm fine with that. If you're in the middle of Massapequa doing TRs, that ain't hurting anybody. It's the elder abuse and locking people up and beating people up. That's mostly the nonsense that's going on. Yeah. You don't have to not believe in Scientology to not support the abuse. It's two separate things. But most of the time, once you leave and you're not getting abused, and you find out there's other things out there, you might subscribe to something else. It's just how it is.
The only time I really took offense was when somebody was like, oh, what's wrong with you? Is you're a bypass case? I'm like, oh, hell no. We're stopping right there. You do not tell me what I'm going to think or do or anything else. Walk away.
The bypass case is just a Scientology kind of term for you have something wrong with you that somebody hasn't addressed or somebody has't isolated.
You didn't fully complete a level or something, and that's what's wrong with you. I'm like, oh, hell no. That is not what's wrong with me.
They do have, part of the brainwashing is they have all the reasons why Scientology doesn't work, and it's usually, I want to say 99% of the time, it's you, not them.
Yeah.
Jen Nelson, I'm in awe of how compassionate all of you are. I'm of the mindset, hate the sin, not the sinner. Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. You said it. It's not the...
Kill them with kindness.
Exactly. Yep. You get it. Love Food Kitchen. Claire, you mentioned living in Rottingdean, my old hood. Was it just a random place you lived, or was it connected to the Church of Scientology FOLO office that was at Rottingdean Place? Why was that there so random?
Yeah, it was definitely that building. It was St. Mary's... It was called St. Mary's, and I don't know why it was there. It was very random.
It's probably just a cheap piece of real estate they could scoop up at one point, and they just left it there for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Elisa1704 says, what a kind, caring interview with Jefferson. Another heartbreaking experience. Please tell me why sadistic psychopath DM would throw out an intelligent, successful Scientologist out of the cult. Yeah. Yep. That's another great one. Claire did this interview with Jeff. Jeff was never trying to leave. He was trying to be a great contributor. And David Miscavige
accomplished amazing things. Like the amount of people that commented on that interview, like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember those Dianetics commercials from the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy that Claire interviewed, Jeff Hawkins. It's in the Scientology Stories series. It's one of the last interviews that she did. He was the guy who created this Dianetics TV ad where it went and then a volcano exploded and a Dianetics book came forward. He was the guy who thought that up, and it sold, I'm going to say they sold millions of they sold more Dianetics book than anything else they did. That ad sold more Dianetics books, and they just kicked that guy until he wouldn't take it anymore, and he finally escaped. And then he wrote a bunch of books about all the stuff that happened, and Scientology does really do its best to get rid of good, smart, well-intentioned people.
Yeah, and I think specifically Miscavige targeted intentionally anyone that he felt threatened by or who had personal interaction with L. Ron Hubbard when he had very little.
Oh, yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say. you got to watch this video. They talk about it more there, but at the base, whenever you're in Scientology, you always do these IQ tests, and it's a Scientology IQ test. It doesn't have any Scientologies in it, but it's written and made by Scientology to, when you do auditing, no matter what you do in Scientology, auditing or counseling, your IQ keeps increasing. And it's rigged that way by Scientology. And so most of us had very, very high IQ. Because you take these IQ tests, you could take one of these IQ tests 10 times a year. So you take that 10 times a year for 20 years, you're going to get a good score 20 years in. But David Miscavige had everybody do a real IQ test from the WOG world. And Jeff Hawkins got the highest score of anyone on that property. I don't remember what it was, but it was like Mensa level scores. And he scored way higher than anybody else. Coincidentally, David Miscavige did not take a test.
Of course he didn't.
But ever since that, I think that's when Jeff's problems got very complicated, because he was, testing-wise, the smartest person on that property. And David Miscavige and everybody else on the property knew it. And he was gone within a few years of that. It didn't take long. Okay, here's John Satowski again for the SP Shop Blown for Good board game. Like the game Life, but with Scientology terms and acts. I think that's a great one. I was thinking of Spiopoly. So you have you could have different Seawork bases on each stretch of the board, and then you could have OGH, and you could have the hole. Yeah. The hole is where you would end up if you,
instead of jail, you go to the
go
RPF,
straight to the hole.
Rehabilitation Project Force. Or the hole. Yeah,
go straight to the hole. Anyway, that's a good.
You get beans and rice.
That's a good idea, John. I will give you that one. That one's a good one. Complicated, expensive, and very detailed, but a great idea. Shannon Graves, longtime listener, first-time caller. I've had the Blown for Good in my Audible queue for a while, going to listen now. Well, thank you, Shannon.
Nice.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Shannon.
Yeah, if people love to say, this guy loves to listen to himself talk. If you like listening to me talk, then you can get the Audible version of my book, Blown for Good, on Audible.
Yeah.
Audiobook.
Our oldest son is listening now, and he's thoroughly enjoying it.
Oh my goodness, I know. So this is oh boy.
Yeah.
Ken's channel. Thanks, Ken. I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe he has, but I just don't remember. I think I've been fair gamed. I answered a Scientology question about TC. You are reported. Hate speech, serious attacks on a group. Second, I was on staff for 29 years and did the RPF, and what you claim is clearly BS. Oh my goodness. I think I've been fair gamed. Yeah. Scientology gets very excited on Twitter. Scientology has this thing called the bridge to total freedom. And I say, if you've got a bridge, you're bound to have trolls. And they have a lot of trolls. There is a lot of Twitter trolls that are working it up for Scientology. Thank you, Ken. Kay Miller, I'm on a book moratorium until I move in June, but I'm very tempted by your book. Must stay strong. Also, did you see the Depeche Mode profile in New York Times this Sunday? Yes. And I didn't think it was this Sunday. I think it was a few Sundays ago. But either way, yes, I saw a profile, and you could get the book. I mean, we've gotten a whole whopping 7 subscribers this time. If you don't push the subscribers, you do not get the subscribers.
I know. People were complaining that we were stat pushing, but I was like, well, we had fun with it. We got to give away some awards live. That was fun.
We are down to the last questions, guys. We're about to do the Shoops and the bobbleheads. I got rid of it. It was a question about, it said, does Marc talk in his sleep? Love you too.
Yeah, Marc does not. But our middle son does. We have some hilarious conversations.
Yeah. And
because I respond.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm trained to do.
Well,
oh, really?
Also, Claire does talk in her sleep as well.
I do, yeah.
And
I still have nightmares, I'll be honest.
Well, yeah, but most of the time when I hear you talking about stuff, it's not nightmarish. It's just you're just like talking about something. But I try to activate like a conversation. She'll be like, oh, I didn't know you were going to go there. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to the store and pick some stuff up. You want anything? And I'll try to, but usually when I do that, she's like, stop. She wakes up when I do.
Actually, you just reminded me of the time when you'd gotten home late when we were still in the Sea Org and we were going to miss the bus. So I started spraying you with a spray bottle and you were like, it's raining. I'm like, oh my God, get up.
Yeah. I would sleep till the very last second.
Yep.
Like if we had to leave to get the bus at 7:45, I would sleep till 7:43.
And it's not like you could just walk in. I mean, it's a good 20-minute drive. So if you miss the bus, you're...
Well, yeah. Well, that's why it was like a lot of getting dressed on the bus. Like you would bring your shoes or bring something with you and just put it on while you're on the bus.
The amount of times people would be running to the bus. Yeah, you're right. With the shoes underneath and the shirt untied and
oh, good times. Good times.
Oh, so much fun.
Evelyn Vollmer, love you too from Cornville, Arizona. Thank you, Evelyn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have you seen Henning Helt's art? Some of it's kind of creepy. Glad I purged the GO. Oh gosh, this COB character. We've got all these characters. We got these. What's his name? Clearwater Chad, and we got Jerry from Sarasota. Now we got CO Bilf. Anyway, Henning Helt was a guy that was in the Guardian's office. He was one of the people that was convicted and prosecuted and sent to jail for the largest infiltration into the United States government in its history. Marc Fisher. Hi, Marc and Claire. Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Marc.
Hi, Marc.
Marc did 2 interviews with Claire too. Get those in our go to our channel. Oh, here it is. Marc Fisher. Coming soon, Janice Grady and I are joining SPTV. Aaron's interview with Janice went live today, tearing it up. Stay tuned. Love you and Marc. Marc and Claire. Yes, thank you, Marc. Yeah.
That's awesome, Marc.
We're getting a lot.
We are growing this SPTV network, folks. Yeah. Stay tuned.
Free of the dog. Hi from Sweden. Marc, how did you propose to Claire? You two are such a cute couple. I just said, hey, you want to get married? That was pretty much it. I mean,
on the first day.
No, not the first day.
Well, I think it was that day that we went to the event.
No, it wasn't.
I think so. It was really soon, and I was like,
no.
Oh my goodness.
It was after a week or so.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I do. Yeah, no. I locked it up first.
I was very surprised, and then I was like, well.
There were many rendezvous before that.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I know there was. Of the two of us, we can both agree one of us has a much more detailed memory than the other.
I remember plenty of details. Thank you.
Apollonia, you say you won that one. You have won all of them. You all rock. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, we joke. Fancy Pants RN. If anyone in the chat would forego a coffee treat once or twice a month and give that to the Aftermath Foundation, think of the lives we can change. Yeah, that is one of the other reasons we started doing this, was just to bring more awareness to the Aftermath Foundation so we could help people get out of there or start new lives. Ernie Milo, $4.99. Thank you. Super sticker.
Thank you,
Ernie. We appreciate every super sticker and every super chat and most of the questions too. Tarkina Meyer, those ads almost hooked my mom. She was a single mother and was susceptible. Luckily, she had strong religious background, so she wasn't falling for a false religion.
Yes.
Yeah, those Steinex ads did get a lot of people in. We know you're not here for the stats. Love to you both. Thank you, Destiny. Yeah, we do like subscribers, but we have a lot of viewers, so we appreciate the viewers, and the subscribers are a bonus. But you know what it's time for now? It's time for some bobblehead picks.
Yay.
This is the winner of last week, and this is Pie Face Bobblehead. Pie Face bobble render. Somebody messaged me. I don't know if it was the person who took the picture, but somebody messaged me and said, "Oh no, that's not pie face. That's a commercial that's going around about a drug you can take, like some kind of pharmaceutical." I'm pretty sure this is pie face because
it is pie face.
We did a whole. We've done many videos and we've talked about this pie face thing very many times. And Mike Rinder was one of the pie face champions of the world, according to David Miscavige. So this was the winner of the of last week's Bobble Picks, and that's pie face Bobble Rinder. So if you are the person who sent this, Claire will be sending you a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet. You get to pick. You get to win. He's probably going to want a bracelet or a book because he's already got a bobblehead. I always forget to mention that when we're talking about that with the, but you could get another bobblehead and give it to somebody if you wanted. And somebody says, "Wait, is that Aaron's background?"
I saw that.
No, it is not Aaron's background because Aaron's background is wide to wide, keeping it wide, side to side. These are portrait pieces of wood, and Aaron doesn't have any portrait pieces of wood. These are up and down positioned. So this is the winner of last week, and now we'll go through the ones that we had this week.
Somebody says I need a pie face sign so I can hold it up every time you mention that I wrote a KR on you.
Yes, that would be so amazing.
Oh my gosh, that would be funny.
I'm not the one who brings these things up. These are comments or stories, and somehow we get right around.
One thing leads to another, and somehow all roads lead back to Rome.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Okay, next one is, this is a Scientology volunteer minister van, and somebody has taken a picture of a bobble render with that. So most likely they either found it or they went to the organization where there was one of these things. So this is Mike Rinder, the volunteer, with the volunteer minister van. This one, this is another in the series.
Yeah, they're all from Battle Creek.
Oh, Battle Creek. Oh, yeah. Look this is the best thing. And we're going to make a collection of these.
Yeah.
We're going to make a collection. I was thinking, because we're going to do the Shoops and the bobbleheads once a month, I was thinking of once a year, just doing a video that's just all the bobblehead picks and the SP Shoops of the whole year.
Yes.
And what you'll see from these Scientology organization picks, look at the parking lot. There's one vehicle. It's theirs. That's it. That's Scientology in a nutshell.
Osa, you are not clearing the planet. So how about you come on out and start living a real life?
Yeah. Then somebody said, "What a huge thumb." You know, it's really funny. I have thumbs like that. I've got roofer thumbs. I used to be a roofer when I was a kid for my dad. And my thumbs are very fat. Scientology, Battle Creek, all are welcome. Oh, and this is another one. This Marilyn didn't make this.
No, this was inspired by Marilyn, though.
Yes.
That's why I threw it in here.
This
because
is
it's always worth bringing up Marilyn and other creative viewers. This is a baby Xenu.
Yeah, baby Xenu crochet. What is the world coming to? People have got a lot of time on their hands to make fun stuff. Yes. Okay. That was the bobbleheads of the week. So vote which one of those you like. I mean, really, it was just Battle Creek. That was it. That's why we're going to do these once a month.
Yeah.
The well is starting to dry up on bobbleheaded Shoops, okay?
Unless the lady that was going to make the cake with Bobble Mike. We'll just stockpile them. We're good.
Yeah. We'll do one once a month. It'll be awesome.
Yeah.
But before we get too off the track, we've got the Shoops. These are the David Miscavige Shoops of the week. This is the winner from last week, and this is David Miscavige, the troll. We talked about it earlier. If you've got a bridge, you got some trolls. Well, there's a little troll under this bridge, and it says, imaginary bridge out. And it's got Grant Cardone, that, I can't remember her name, that Katie or whatever that gal was that did the silly video with Apostate Alex.
Katie, wait, with Apostate Alex, you mean with Andrew Gold?
Andrew Gold, sorry.
Katie Lohman, yeah.
Yes, Katie Lohman. I think it was apostate Alex who went on there and was asking her some questions when she was doing it. That's how I got
nice.
apostate Alex mixed up in there. And then it's got Tommy Davis, and then who's that? Tom Cruise, or I don't know who it is. Anyway, it's David Miscavige with a bunch of money, and then he's got a bunch of Chase credit cards in his hand.
Yeah, and I like the caption. It's great.
Scientology, where the troll is real and the bridge is a fairy tale. Yep. Okay, so that's the winner of last week. So if you sent that one in, book, bobblehead, or bracelet for you.
Shoot
win.
Me an email.
You're the winner. This is the Carrot Top, the new Carrot Top. Scientology is working, and it's got David Miscavige on. He's got a Carrot Top wig on. He's on a surfboard, and then he's got a picture of Shelley, and then Marty in the back, Marty Rathbun in the background. It says, keeping it wide, chairman of the board, BORED. And tribute to Norm Macdonald. That's what it says in the corner there.
Yep.
So there you go. So that's surfing. We'll call it Carrot Top, Dave. And this one, I like this one. I like this one. It's it's good. The other thing I like is it's got Scientology. It's a picture at their big blue building in Los Angeles called the Complex. It's got a flying saucer up there, and then it's got L. Ron Hubbard is in a flying saucer, and then it's got this alien-looking fella here in the on the right side. But what I like about these pictures is I can use them as thumbnails, because you got to give me some area at the bottom for the lower thirds for the titles. And if you guys are going to send in shoops or going to send in funny things, just give me some space at the bottom. The lower third of the screen is for titles. Keep everything up in the upper 2/3 of the screen. And if you send me one and I like it and it's high quality like this one, I'll use it as the thumbnail like I did for this video. I'm pretty sure this is the thumbnail that I used. So if you want me to use your shoop or your pics or whatever as a thumbnail, give me some room for the titles at the bottom, and you're going to find out that I'll use it. And this was Apostate Amanda's shoop, and that's the one I used for the thumbnail. So thank you.
And yes, Catherine Olson, I will get you a baby Xenu.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to start we're going to have a crochet network going on. Yeah. We're promoting more crochet makers, or what do you call it when somebody crochets? You call it crafter? Crafters, yeah. I'm all about crafters and makers. I love that. I love people. I love buying things. We go to a place here in our town where they sell like little knickknacks from crafters and stuff like that.
Lucky CG just named this one brilliant. Close Encounters of the Worst Kind.
Yes, there you go, Amanda.
Perfect.
So if you like Amanda's, it's Close Encounters of the Worst Kind. That's what we're calling this one.
There you go.
The Apostate Amanda's shoop. This is another good one. Church of Scientology, I Stand Tall. Another perfect shoop. It could be a little bit more room on the bottom, and it's kind of square, but what are you going to do? But it's got a picture of what's his name? The elf.
Buddy the Elf.
Buddy the Elf with David Miscavige. And I Stand Tall. To be fair, David Miscavige is more appropriately that South Pole elf that is also in that movie. But it says Church of Scientology, I Stand Tall. And then it's got David Miscavige. And I think he is on it's like a crate or some kind of apple box.
Yep.
So we'll call this one I Stand Tall Dave. If you like I Stand Tall, or David the Elf. And this is Supermarket Dave, Supermarket Sweep. OT Writer's Block Edition, and it's got He Took All the Good Stuff, and it's got body thetans and 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 OWs and body thetans, and it's Hubbard that's got all this, and David Miscavige is left with nothing left to write up for the OT levels. Supermarket Sweep Dave. Wow, this one is very busy. The bridge to total freedom will cost you all your money, your family, all your time, your freedom, education. No proper education, no childhood, no sleep, brainwashing, physical abuse. And then it's got an upside down cross at the top. And then it's got Hubtard with a big stack of money. And then David Miscavige is the one pitching all this, the bridge to total freedom. Okay, so this is Bridge to Total Freedom, Dave. Wow, this, oh my gosh, this is like, I gotta stretch I got to stretch for this one. Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard birthday bash, and excuse me, and mud.
Instead of a pool party, it's a mud wallow.
Mud wallow. It's got danger. I got to make this big. There's a lot of, I'm an old man now. Danger, quick stands, stay away. And then it's got something else that's too tiny. This is for rent. It's got a picture with Lou. Oh, and they're all babies. It's got it's got a Ken Moxon baby, a Tom Cruise baby, a David Miscavige baby playing with this little free wind ship. It's got a Danny Masterson and a Larisse Stuckenbrock. And then it's got a giant L. Ron Hubbard with a big fat butt that David Miscavige is sitting on. And then it's got Shelley that's saying help, and she's in the mud. And then it's got a WTF. Two scrolls are like, WTF? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Okay. So this is the birthday mud wallow. So if you like the birthday mud wallow, vote for that one. This is Shamdaland. I guess it's a parody of Candyland. It says the Church of Scamatology presents Shamdaland. It's got a picture of Hubbard. He's got his little king's wand, and then it's got Dave with some lollipops, and then it's got Kirstie Alley, Danny Masterson, John Travolta, and Tom Cruise. They're getting audited on soup cans. There's a Mike Rinder bobblehead. Somebody somewhere has got a big, David Miscavige has got a bunch of cash. So Brown Era Productions.
Instead of Golden.
Brown Era Productions. SPs, 3 and plus. 5 billion, 2.4 thetans, pills not included. Oh my goodness. That's a busy Photoshop or shoop. Thank you for that. So that's Shamdaland if you want to vote for that. This is Twin Peaks. Arnold Schwarzenegger and David Miscavige, Twin Peaks, Hiding Shelley, coming 13 March 2024. And then it's got David Miscavige
birthday. Nice touch.
Standing up leaning up against Schwarzenegger like the movie. And then it says SPTV presents Marc and Claire Headley production, a film by Aaron Smith-Levin. With Mike Rinder, music supervision Mark Bunker, casting by Amy Scobie, executive producer Leah Remini, and editor Goliath, the SP dog.
Nice.
So Twin Peaks, Hiding Shelley. That's that one. That's a good one. Thank you, guys. And then this one is, oh my goodness, this is a lot of text. Introducing the premiere edition of the Galactic Warriors of the Federation. This is the first in a series. Future products to include trading cards, board games, sticker books, coloring books, computer games, everything investor inquiries welcome. Warriors of the Federation. And then it just has superpower rundown stats. And I guess each person will have a card. And this is Commander Miscavige. Known destructive mechs. Crippling grasp. Oh, it's got a whole bunch of stuff. You can pause it if you want to read that. My eyes are not what they used to be, folks, and I've got this little screen that I preview everything on. So there's a known.
Let me just read the last one. It says Wall of Fire. Protective curtain of flame provides concealment, but is not an obstacle. That's good.
Okay, and then that was it. So vote for your best ones. Which shoop you like the best, and that person will be the winner of a shoop, a bobblehead, or a bracelet. A shoop, a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet. And then again, whenever we tick over 1,000 more subscribers, we give away a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet to a random person on the channel. So if you do want a book, a bobblehead, or a bracelet, then go down in the comments and say, I want a book, I want a bobblehead, or I want a bracelet. And then when we tick over another 1,000 subscribers, Claire randomly picks somebody and they are the winner. So if you want one of those, make a comment in the video below and we'll try to get to you. We'll just do some housekeeping here real quick. All copies of Blown for Good that are purchased through blownforgood.com will be signed by myself and Claire. And we have paperbacks and we have hardbacks left. And to tell you the truth, folks, we have been selling so many books in the last year or so with the Aftermath show and the YouTube videos and all the interviews and stuff we've been doing. We have a few hundred paperbacks.
Yes.
We have a few hundred paperbacks left and several hundred, less than 1,000 hardbacks left. And then that's it. We're out. We're not printing them another one. The next book we print is going to be Claire's book. So if you do want a hardback or a hardback or a paperback print, some people like a physical book instead of the Kindle or the Audible. If you want one of those, we're going to sell out probably before the end of this year. We're going to have none left. I want to say with the rate we're going, we'll sell out of at least the paperback by the end of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Or very close to it with the amount that we're doing. And we've got some special projects and stuff coming up where we're probably going to sell a bunch of books doing that. So if you want a copy, they're signed and they're hard or paperbacks.
And my next interview will be with Tori Kreisman Magoo. So that'll be awesome. Somebody was just asking if she's going to be showing up.
Yes.
And I said,
Claire's going
absolutely.
to keep doing her.
She's pretty much the original SPTV network.
She is. She's one of the very first
Yes.
people that would do videos on YouTube. And she did a lot, and she helped a lot of people, including myself. When I got out and I saw that people were talking about Scientology and nothing real, they were just harassing them. I was like, I could do that. I don't mind getting harassed here and there a little bit. I mean, they've gone a little far over the years, but it's just been kind of rough. But whatever. We're still here. Tori's still around. We're still doing our thing.
Yeah,
So
but
it wasn't
what's crazy?
wasn't bad enough to stop us.
Yeah, she has an amazing story, but one tidbit that she told me today when I was talking with her is that when she started speaking out, somebody from inside Scientology messaged her and said, keep speaking out. As long as you're speaking out, they cannot shut you down. It's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I believe it. If you don't want a Blown for Good book or you don't care about getting a signed copy, you can go to Audible or Kindle and get that. And if you don't care about the book at all and you just want to support the Aftermath Foundation, all proceeds of the spshop.com go to the Aftermath Foundation to help people start their lives over, or if they need help getting out of Scientology, we do that sometimes as well. And we sell bobbleheads and SP bracelets at the spshop.com, and that supports that. So if you want one of those, that's why we do it. They're fun, but it's for a good cause, and it's a way you can get a trinket. Some people like merch. Some people don't. And the people that don't want merch, that do want to support the Aftermath Foundation, you can just go to the aftermathfoundation.org. And there's a donate button there. You can just donate directly to the foundation itself. And otherwise, there's also ways that you can volunteer. So say we need some help in a certain area, and you can volunteer for different things that you'd be willing to help with, whether it's a place to stay or a ride to the airport, or if you've got, some extra clothes you can give somebody, whatever it is. There's a donate form on the aftermathfoundation.org, and that's where you could do that there. And then again, if you haven't subscribed, there's all sorts of schools of thought on the subject. The more subscribers you have, the algorithm thinks that more people want to watch that. So then they put it on other people's pages. We do know that about half the people that watch our videos are not subscribed. So while there are a lot of people that comment and a lot of regulars that are here, that's a very, very small percentage of the people that watch these videos. And I mean, we've got videos on here that have been watched 80,000 times, and I got 27,505 subscribers. So if you want to subscribe, it helps us, and it's free. You don't have to pay to subscribe. There, somebody told me they couldn't afford a subscription. I was like, dude, a YouTube subscription to the channel. A YouTube costs money to subscribe if you want to not pay for ads and stuff like that. But to subscribe to a YouTube channel is free. Anyone can subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, and it's good for the channel. So if you like the content that we're putting out, subscribe. And it doesn't hurt to hit the like button every once in a while either.
And shout out to Goldie, the amazing moderator that we have. And thank you, Clara, for the email. I really appreciate it. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, we did good tonight, folks. Just a little over 2 hours. So thank you for all you guys who stuck around until the very end of the video. Claire's got some Scientology stories if you want more content. I've got the spy files, which we're doing some more spy files this week as well. And then there's all sorts of past lives that we've done where we've answered all sorts of other questions and told other kind of stories. And then another type of video that we have that some people aren't aware of is that I have all these videos that I did years and years ago before I was appearing on camera. But is all of the hate sites that have been set up by former members. There's a list of those as a video. There's also a list of all of the websites Scientology has set up about David Miscavige, which we call David COB vanity sites or David Miscavige vanity sites. And then there's also a list of all of the people who have been declared enemies of Scientology. There's a list of those as a video. Yeah, there's all sorts of other fun stuff down in the videos on this channel. So we have, I want to say we have over 60, 70, maybe even up to 80 videos on the channel right now. So if you didn't catch us live or you're watching this on replay and you are interested in other stuff, then we have a ton of videos that you can watch, and you will learn a lot about Scientology by watching most of those. Oh, that's it. We're going to turn into pumpkins, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next one. Until next time, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.